Imagine this. You're standing right there, power within reach, like sovereignty over worlds. The path to victory is clear. But that path means fighting, maybe even killing your own family. What do you do? I mean, what choice is there when duty goes head-to-head with family, with your own conscience? Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into a really deep moral puzzle from ancient India. It's called Arjuna's Dilemma, and it still resonates, right, even now. We're using some excerpts titled Arjuna's Dilemma, Kinsman, Kingship, and Conscience. We'll focus on just 3 key verses, 35, 36, and 37. So our mission today, to unpack why Arjuna argues against fighting this huge battle. We want to get into his moral thinking, his emotions, and what this ancient wisdom can tell us about things like conscience, family ties, and the real cost of power. This isn't just some old story. It really holds up a mirror to our own struggles, doesn't it? Loyalty, morality, what makes life meaningful. Okay, so let's step onto that battlefield, Kirkach, and really get into this. Let's unpack it.
Such a critical moment, yeah, a real crossroads. And we find Arjuna, who is, well, arguably one of the greatest warriors ever. He's on the battlefield, ready to do his dharma, his duty. But then he looks across and he sees, well, not just enemies. He sees his grandfathers, his teachers, uncles, cousins, even sons and friends, all lined up against him.
And his first reaction isn't just like hesitation. It's a flat-out refusal. No, I won't fight, which is kind of shocking, right? For a warrior like him. At this crucial moment, what makes a hero, someone defined by battle, just lay down his weapons?
Exactly. And that's the fascinating part. It's not fear. This isn't Arjuna being a coward. No way. It's a crisis of conscience. A really deep moral collapse when he sees who he has to fight. He's questioning everything. What even is victory if it means killing your own? It forces us and him to think about where loyalties truly lie.
Okay, so this is where we get into the specifics. Verse 35. He speaks to Krishna, his guide, right? Calls him Madhusudana. And he says, "Oh, Madhusudana, though they may kill me, I do not wish to slay them." But then he adds that kicker, "Not even for sovereignty over the 3 worlds, what to speak of ruling this earth." Wow. I mean, is he serious? Rejecting sovereignty over 3 worlds, that sounds huge. Is that, like, literal or just exaggerated?
So it's absolutely serious, not hyperbole at all. The statement just lifts his whole argument way beyond simple self-preservation or tactics. He's saying they can kill me, but I won't kill them. And the scale. Sovereignty over the 3 worlds, the Trailokya Raja, that was cosmic control, earth, heavens, the underworlds, everything. To reject that for a moral principle, it's immense. He's basically redefining victory right there. It's not about conquering land. It's about keeping your inner moral compass intact, even if you lose everything else the world values.
That really puts it into perspective. It's not about pragmatism at all. It does make you wonder, though, if ultimate power isn't worth it to him. What about us? Like, what principle do you hold so dear you'd turn down, I don't know, the biggest promotion, the ultimate success, if it felt wrong?
Exactly. And that line of thinking carries right into his next point.
Right. So building on rejecting power, verse 36 moves to the consequences, the spiritual fallout. He asks Krishna, calling him Janardana this time, what pleasure would we derive by killing the sons of Tatadara? It sounds like he's saying, even if we win, we lose. Is that it?
That's precisely it. And here's where sin, Papalan comes in explicitly. He says, sin alone will take hold of us if we slay these aggressors. Now, what's really interesting, as you pointed out, is that he calls them aggressors, atataina. And usually, under the old laws, the Dharmashastras, you were allowed to kill an atataina, someone who does terrible things, like arson, poisoning, trying to kill you.
Wait, so even though the law might say it's okay because they're aggressors, Arjuna is still saying, nope, it's a sin for us. Why the exception? Is it just because they're family?
That's the absolute heart of it, because they are kinsmen, his svajana. That relationship transforms the act. It stops being simple defense or warrior duty. It becomes this profound moral stain, this papam. Victory can't wash it away. It's his warrior duty clashing head-on with the sacred duty to family. He's wrestling with the idea that even a justified action can carry this heavy, like, karmic burden that pollutes you. It's not just strategy anymore. It's spiritual reckoning. What good is a kingdom if you lose your soul getting it?
That's a huge distinction. It forces you to look beyond just winning or losing the battle.
Yeah.
Even if an action seems justified right now, what's the long-term cost? To your conscience, to your spirit. Is any victory actually sweet if it leaves you feeling tainted, hollow?
Exactly. That feeling of hollowness, that lack of potential happiness is exactly where he goes next.
And that leads us straight to verse 37, the final piece of this argument we're looking at today. He now calls Krishna Madhava, which sounds more personal, right? Like an appeal for well-being. And he lays it out. Therefore, we are not justified in killing our own kinsmen. And then the question that just hits you. How can we be happy, O Madhava, after slaying our own relatives? He's tying the act directly to his ability to feel joy. Ever again, maybe.
It's such a powerful human question. It shows his deep anguish. And it's not just about feeling guilty later, it's this fundamental understanding. He knows that killing his own family, his Svabandhavan, would just shatter his capacity for any future happiness or peace. For him, those family bonds are everything. They're worth more than any political gain. He gets that true happiness just can't coexist with that kind of act, even if his opponents are hostile aggressors. He's saying some actions just leave a scar so deep, happiness becomes impossible. It's where abstract duty meets raw personal consequence.
Yeah, that really brings it down to the universal truth. Certain things we do, especially against our own, they change us permanently. It's like he's asking, what good is the throne if I can never sleep soundly again? It makes you think, what actions would fundamentally change you, make any success feel empty? So let's pull these 3 points together. What's the big picture from verses 35, 36, and 37? We see him reject power, even cosmic power, because of the cost in kin. Then he fears the spiritual sin, the papam, even if the act seems justified by law. And finally, he fundamentally believes happiness is impossible after killing his own relatives.
Yeah, putting it together, you see, it's not just scattered objections or weakness. It's a complete moral stance. He's clearly prioritizing his spiritual well-being, his potential for happiness, over kingship, over victory, over what seems like his obvious duty as a warrior. He's suggesting there might be a higher dharma, a deeper principle that outweighs the duty to fight in this specific, terrible case. He's just not willing to pay that price for power. The bond of family, his own conscience, they're simply worth more. His dilemma just perfectly captures that eternal tension between duty and personal values, doesn't it? And his conclusion is radical. Some wins just aren't worth it.
He really struggles with this idea that winning can actually be losing if the moral cost is too high. And that brings it back to us, doesn't it? In our own lives. When do we weigh those external rewards, a job, money, status, against our own inner peace, our sense of what's right? What compromises are we willing to make? Especially if happiness itself, our core sense of self, is on the line. These questions from thousands of years ago, they still hit home. This deep dive really pushes us to look at the true cost of our choices. And maybe, more importantly, what we actually mean by success or happiness. It's a timeless challenge. What would you give up for sovereignty over the three worlds? And maybe more importantly, what would you absolutely refuse to sacrifice?